After 3 months of occupation, the tents finally came down. Our cameras were rolling as city workers and a junk removal company cleared out the encampment in front of Duluth City Hall this morning. Good evening, I'm Laura Lee.
And I'm Dan Wolf. Thanks for joining us. Occupants built barricades this week, hoping to keep law enforcement from forcing them out. But in the end, the city took over. You
may remember tents started going up on May 1st with the purpose of urging city leaders to divest from the war in Gaza.
By July 8th, what started as 2 tents grew to more than 15, and the protest eventually turned into a safe haven for those unhoused in the city.
And just last Tuesday, the city posted an eviction notice ordering people at the encampment to leave within 7 days due to their growing public health and safety concerns.
The police and safety teams moved in this morning, clearing it out and cleaning it up.
Yeah, 2 people were arrested in the process, and a shocking amount of human waste and needles were removed from the area.
In Northern News Now's Madison Green joins us live from outside City Hall. Madison, a very different scene, I would imagine, out there.
Dan, you are correct. I was even out here earlier today, and now you can't even really tell an encampment was set up 24 hours ago. The imprints of tents are now covered up by patches of sod, and it is very quiet. There are no tents, there are no crews, there are no people. The only thing that remains is a fence enclosing where the encampment once sat. But this did not happen on its own. I spoke to part of the crews called on to help clean up what was left behind. The Duluth Police Department gave the remaining occupants of the City Hall encampment one more day of grace to completely clear out. Wednesday officially became moving day, and Twin Ports Trailer Trash was hired by the city to help remove what remained.
It was probably, if you could imagine, one standard-sized tote. We probably filled an entire tote with just needles.
Owner Bernard McCarthy says he and his crew have cleared encampments for the city several times before, but this one sticks out.
Definitely one of the more unique ones being where it was located, I would say. Going into it, we thought maybe there wouldn't be as many needles and stuff just because they were right in front of City Hall, but there was actually quite a bit more needles than we usually face.
According to the president of downtown Duluth, Christy Stokes, the needles were not confined to the encampment.
We did see a substantial increase in the amount of needles in the garbage cans and around that area that we were, as part of the clean and safe team, having to collect. So we did see that safety and health concern as well.
McCarthy and crew also cleared a total of 36 cubic yards of other junk, including 10 5-gallon buckets of human waste.
When we're picking up blankets and sheets and stuff, we can unfortunately smell that those are somewhat filled with human urine and all kinds of stuff that we have to wear a couple extra pairs of gloves for.
With all of the waste removed, the city can now begin restoring the area to how it looked before. This portion of Priley Circle will remain closed until restoration and maintenance is completed, Laura.
All right, Madison, thank you so much. Madison Green live for us in front of City Hall tonight.